The year was 1947, and Nintendo was already well established in Japan as a premier playing card manufacturer. Everything was going great for the little Kyoto-based company, up until Sekiryo Yamauchi suffered a stroke. Sekiryo then sent word to his grandson, Hiroshi Yamauchi, to come home. This is part 2 of the 3-part series entitled Nintendo, Before Nintendo Made the Nintendo. If you haven't seen part 1, please follow the link on the screen right now. In it, I cover Nintendo from 1889 to 1950. Now, strap on your time pants, kiddos, and let's find out what happened in the 1950s and 60s when Hiroshi Yamauchi took over Nintendo. At this point, Nintendo was still a privately owned business, and Hiroshi was the next Yamauchi in line to take over the company, and it was for that purpose that Sekiryo had asked him to return home. I don't know the full extent of the terms that Hiroshi and his grandfather came to for succession, but the one that I do know about was kind of a big deal. Hiroshi would take over presidency only if he was the sole Yamauchi working at Nintendo. Sekiryo reluctantly agreed, and Hiroshi's cousin, a longtime employee for the family-run playing card company, and the only other Yamauchi at Nintendo, was let go. In 1949, Sekiryo passed away, and Hiroshi took control of Nintendo. He was just 22 and had never managed anything in his life. Being so young and inexperienced, many of the Nintendo employees had no faith that Hiroshi could successfully manage his family's company, and several people went on strike. It was expected that Hiroshi would cave under the sudden pushback he had received, but then he made a move that would soon be known as a hallmark of his personality. Hiroshi fired all of the employees who went on strike, many of which had been working at Nintendo for years. He then changed the name of the company from Yamauchi Nintendo & Company to Nintendo Karuta. Along with that, Hiroshi made himself the final word on the products that Nintendo would produce. I have heard that he did this because he believed that he had an innate understanding of what kinds of products would appeal to the average consumer. Mr. Yamauchi immediately began looking for ways to expand Nintendo's already successful business, and figured he could do it by targeting families. Cards and card games had a stigma in Japan as tools used primarily for gambling, and gambling was, and still is, illegal in Japan, with very slim exceptions. Hiroshi had an idea to sell branded cards with pictures of iconic characters from Western pop culture. American culture had become very popular in Japan in the 1950s, especially cartoon characters like Popeye and Mickey Mouse. And so, Hiroshi Yamauchi traveled to the United States and met with Roy Disney. They came to an agreement, and Nintendo secured a license to produce cards featuring Mickey Mouse and other Disney characters. Along with these decks of cards, Nintendo packaged rules for various card games. The cards were marketed as a fun thing to do at parties, as well as a friendly icebreaker to meet new people, something that would be important to Japan's emerging youth culture. It was a huge success. The best idea. He did it. I would say it was bigger than Mickey Mouse, but it wasn't. It was just as big. In fact, exactly as big as Mickey Mouse. Because that's what it was. There, on the cards. The mouse. The revenue was humongous. So large that Yamauchi decided to take Nintendo public. The company was listed on the Osaka Stock Exchange, and suddenly Nintendo had a nice chunk of capital to work with. Mr. Yamauchi had an itch to explore new potential business opportunities. So, hoping to expand the business of Nintendo Karuta, he once again traveled to the United States to see how American card companies were run. What he found there was very upsetting. The largest playing card company in America was operated out of a small office and wasn't a very large operation. You know when you want to have a pizza, and you see pictures of pizzas that look like this? But then your pizza arrives? You open that hot, steamy box which entombs your savory flavor wheel, and what you really get is something like this. I like to imagine that's how Hiroshi Yamauchi felt, a little deflated. However, undeterred from his zesty dreams of growing Nintendo into a larger business, Hiroshi returned to Japan with an idea to expand the company into new avenues. This ushers in a weird time for Nintendo. They tried branching out into cab companies, toys, instant rice, and love hotels. Most of these were very unsuccessful. Also, sales on cards began to thin. You see, the problem with selling cards is that most people buy a deck, and that's like a lifetime supply of cards, right there. Except until there's a blackout and you pull out your deck of cards to pass time and suddenly you're missing the Queen of Clubs or some crap like that, and you're forced to use the Joker. No, I don't want to use the Joker in my deck. That's just asking me too much. I won't do it. I don't even want to play anymore. Anyway, Hiroshi found his great-grandfather's company quickly sinking into debt and decided to drop everything except for two branches: cards and the most successful side business they had, toys. This was it. A single major decision that would ultimately lead to a chance meeting between Hiroshi Yamauchi and a creative conveyor technician with a penchant for building clever gadgets, Mr. Gunpei Yokoi, future father of the Game Boy. Thanks for watching Games. This second part of Nintendo before Nintendo made the Nintendo has been a long time coming, and I hope you're enjoying it. If you do like what I'm making here, please let me know in the comments below or send me a tweet at GG Games Show. Also, I know I'm asking for a lot, but it would mean so much to me if you would share what I'm doing here. And as always, thanks for watching.